What is going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo, and we are back for the second episode of the GhostRobo Army broadcast. I'm joined once again by your favorite and only guest you've heard so far, Jake. How you doing today, Jake?
I'm doing pretty good.
Looking pretty tired. It's already super sweaty and hot down here in our lovely basement recording studio, but we are joined by our first real guest as well, who is sitting all the way in his own house, not joining us in the hot and sweaty basement here. Tony Pizza Guy, how you doing, bud?
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
It's going very good. So we have a nice three-man show today, a little bit more of a legit, real podcast, and the way it's going to go is we're going to talk about what we've been playing, and then in our probably second or third segment, depending on how long we talk about the games, we're going to talk about our favorite games from the first half of the year, our biggest disappointments, our biggest surprises, and then we might touch on that bill that everybody's been whining and freaking out about over on Twitter and sending me tons of messages every day. But I say we get right into the games. The first big one is the Annihilation map pack for Black Ops. I know I've been making a ton of videos based on that, and Jake, we've been playing a lot of zombies. Tony, what do you think of the new maps?
They are good. Actually, out of all the map packs, I'm going to have to say this is probably my favorite. Reason being, no snow maps. I mean, gotta love that.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of all the snow maps they put in the game.
There's tons of I guess more variety in the environment, but I'm not really liking the layout of them. I feel like Silo, I get lost all the time, and
yeah.
Hangar 18 I think is really good. Drive-In is kind of, I don't like Nuketown, so I'm not gonna like Drive-In, but I think Hangar 18 is really solid. What do you think of Hazard though? Because I can't seem to do well on that at all.
I don't know. I enjoy that one a lot. I just like sniping in that from like all the way across the map. It's pretty fun, but I don't know. Still have to say, love the zombies.
Yeah, the Shangri-La, it was really weird because, Jake, you and I really didn't get much into zombies in, we kind of poo-pooed it in World at War and didn't really play much in the original, what came with Black Ops. But here we're like, hey, let's try this Shangri-La nonsense, and we had a blast.
Yeah, I think we got into it because it was kind of a new take on it. Just the whole setting of Shangri-La was kind of intriguing to me, with the monkeys and different stuff like that.
There were monkeys in Ascension.
Well, okay, not as many, and not as often, not right from the get.
Not as frequent of monkeys. No, what I really like is that I feel like the other ones are a lot more in a contained area where you're kind of just blasting down a hallway or blasting down a staircase. And what I find kind of cool about Shangri-La is I feel like you're moving like a lot more constantly. I don't know if that's just the way we play or what, but are you moving a lot more, Tony?
Yeah, there's a lot more of more open space, and you can go down like waterfalls and down these crazy ass mine carts, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff in this game. Like Ascension was okay, it got kind of boring though.
Yeah, they're just a lot more. I mean, the Easter eggs are crazy in Shangri-La, and then there's just a ton more. Just like the environment itself has a lot more options and a lot more ability for you to kind of move around, and I think it creates more of a chaotic atmosphere. I know, Jake, we were playing Ascension earlier and kind of just camped out in the mystery box room and took 10 waves easily. But Shangri-La, like, you're running in circles and getting the zombies on that bridge and going back and forth, and it just adds a lot of harebrained chaos to the game. It's definitely
the best part is when you have like 50 zombies chasing you and you just run around in a circle around the whole map and you're just screaming and. It's terrible, but it's fun.
It adds way more terror, and I like the theme. Like I like how it's light out and not dark. I like sort of the whatever like jungle zombies that run at you, and you got like the ice guy who shoots the blurring stuff at your screen, and the fire guy who slowly walks at you like he's an old man or whatever. And it's really good. But do you think it's the last one? You think they're gonna put out another map pack?
I'm thinking they might do one more just to keep the game relevant while MW3 comes out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of people saying that they think, oh, this could be the last one or one more. But if I'm Treyarch, these sell so well, I would just make one or two even a month until November. And I don't think for the Black Ops players, they're gonna buy these maps. I don't think it's like, oh man, they're oversaturated. This is too much. I think they actually want more. And how they tie in double XP weekends and sort of mix up the maps and create new playlists and things like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple between now and November.
I hope so. I kind of want them to do zombies instead of I just want to buy the zombie maps only, to be honest.
What do you think about the new for Modern Warfare 3, like the survival? It's their take on zombies, but it's not really zombies. It's more horde style where you're fighting stronger and stronger juggernauts and dogs with C4. To me, I don't think that holds the same appeal as zombies, because I feel like 85% of zombies is the zombies. Like, that's what people like. That's what makes it cool. And now we're just going to be like survive against military dudes wearing armor. It just doesn't seem.
Is it the same setup where you buy stuff and
They're just going to be buying and stuff, but it's not like here comes, George the soldier busting through the door. It's like more of an open field, battlefield style where you're going and taking out guys. And I would assume they're trying to make it more tactical and more reliant on multiplayer skills. To me, that's what it seems like they're doing. Like, hey, we're going to take what people do and practice in multiplayer because that's sort of where the longevity is, and bring that over more to this. Because I mean, zombies, as you can see, you don't have to be good at multiplayer to be good at zombies.
No,
and
I suck at multiplayer. I never play. I'm decent at zombies, so it's okay.
Vice versa. But here, I think they're trying to create something where it's more like, hey, look, you play single player, you play some multiplayer, and then boom, you go right over to this sort of survival mode, and everything carries over nicely. But what's going to pull people away from multiplayer with that? What pulls people away from multiplayer to zombies is the zombies. It's unique and crazy. I just don't see myself getting into it as much.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Spec Ops to begin with in MW2. I don't know. I never.
No,
really
see,
got into
I
that.
really liked the Spec Ops missions, but because they were boiling down like good Call of Duty gameplay into a 5-minute chunk, as opposed to running through an entire level and feeling like you're in a shooting gallery. But to take that and say, hey, we're going to give you a horde mode. I mean, I guess it's just competing with competition. You got Gears of War 3, which has sort of their upgraded and improved horde mode, where now there's kind of a tower defense aspect to it, and they're probably just trying to, create a little bit of a new twist. I don't know. I just don't think it sounds as exciting.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they just want to try and make the game last longer. I don't know, but well, they should put zombies in it, but they probably won't.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think they'll leave that with
happening.
I think they'll leave that with Treyarch, and at least try to establish sort of how they had that dichotomy between Infinity War and Treyarch. Try to establish at least some uniqueness there. But one game, if we all give thumbs up to Annihilation, one game that, Jake, I know we can give straight thumbs down to is the only real new release of the week, which is Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon. Now let's set this up. Explain why we were even interested in this game.
Why we were interested? Because we just been playing a lot of co-op zombies, and we were into shooting things, and it was kind of crazy because they have ants and giant spiders and things. So we picked it up, and also we were interested in the customization. Like, we were playing trash
Right, like
a lot.
loot. So I mean, Tony, let me set this up for you. There's 2-player co-op, a split screen, right? You're fighting gigantic insects. You can get loot. It sounds pretty awesome, right? Like,
Yeah, it sounds like kind of like a horde mode or something.
right, like
Zombies?
you,
I don't know,
and there's levels and a story, and you can unlock new loot. Like, you're totally into this, right?
all right, I'm sold.
You're
I'm
on
ready.
board, okay? And then you play the game, and
Just like, what the heck?
you're like fighting these medium-sized ants for 20 minutes. And the worst part of the entire thing is there is no tension, there is no recoil, there is no feedback. You're basically firing, Nerf guns at these giant ants as they explode over the city, and then a voice comes over, the whatever the heck, their helmets, and says, move to the next waypoint. Like, it doesn't even say we have to go to the city center, or we have to go to, it says, move to the next waypoint.
Here's what it feels like to me. It feels like a game like at Chuck E. Cheese or something in an arcade that isn't even one of the best games. It's not like a 4-token game. It's like a 2-token game.
Are you hating on Chuck E. Cheese?
No, I'm hating on this game.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
But no, honestly, it feels awful. I mean, because you're just running around and mashing the right trigger. And I felt no difference in any of the guns that I was using except maybe reload times, which they have this weird active reload, which is totally out of place. But you're literally just running around killing ants, and they continue to come until you two do your next objective, which is like either hold Y on an anthill, or hold Y by a wrecked ship.
I mean, I picked it up based on a recommendation from another podcast, thinking it would just sort of be mindless co-op fun. But mindless co-op fun is ruined by horrible graphics, by a loot system that supposedly you can pick up more loot later, but the loot system boils down to you one level, unlock new weapon that does nothing different. You're still killing the same ants. So we played 2 levels, and we're in the same environment, fighting the same ants, followed by this same NPC named Old Man, which is so uncreative. It's embarrassing.
But it also feels, the 2 levels we play, instead of being like, oh, this is your environment of level 1, and then we're going to go to the next environment, you literally go like a block in the city, and then the next level is picked up in like one more block. And so you're moving these, like, you see this giant city, and you're moving these in these tiny little sections, and it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, I quickly realized the game wasn't for me, but what I kind of found interesting was, you're looking at games that have been made this year from LA Noire, and then later we have Rage and Battlefield 3, and these games that are millions and millions of dollars, and you look at something like Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon, and What do you think? Do you think it's that the team builds this and says, we think this is awesome and we just don't have the resources to, add the extra level of polish? Or do you think that they make this game knowing, okay, we're going to try to squeeze our way in and get some people to buy it?
I really have no idea what they were thinking when they were making this. Because I thought it was going to be like a super epic game with these giant spiders and ants and things. And it turns out to be mindless, like you said. But and then there's like robots thrown in. I think they were trying to make the craziest game they could with like every kind of mechanic. Like here's loot, here's customization, you can change your color.
But I guess I'm just really intrigued because you look at something like Shadows of the Damned, which had Mikami and Suda51 and this big team and like really talented developers, but they had to know from the get-go that we're not going to sell copies. And so what is the mindset of Earth Defense Force? Okay, they're releasing on 4th of July week. They're releasing at $40. They're releasing with the most generic title ever. Is their mindset we're gonna sell copies? I mean, I feel like Suda and Mikami with Shadows of the Damned knew they're making a great game and probably just sat there and cried for a few hours before it shipped, realizing they're not gonna sell many copies. But what is the mindset of a developer that puts out a game that is subpar visually, subpar mechanically? Do they know it's? I mean,
they had to know. When we picked it up from GameStop, they had 1 copy. So clearly, they sent out very few copies of this game because they knew it was crap.
Maybe they know that it's like generic, and that's like kind of their appeal, trying to get to like the generic gamer who just wants like that one generic game.
Like the Walmart, window shopper sale.
Not pay $60, but you're like, oh, this is 40, so I'll probably pick it up.
It looks epic when you see it, like trailers and stuff, like giant bugs.
Well, they give you this sort of montage of spiders and robots, and then you get in the game and you're like, we just fought 5,000 ants. But that's it's not good. I can't recommend it. I put up a little 2 quick looks of it on my channel, but you can check it out for yourself if you have a fetish of destroying insects. Maybe you'll get a kick out of it, but other than that, I can't. Jake, I know you've been playing some iPhone stuff. Why don't you tell us a little about Mr. What's his name? Nelson
Tethers.
Nelson Tethers.
Well, I played the first Puzzle Agent and I beat it in like 1 sitting on the couch because I was so intrigued by the storyline, and so I got the second one.
Let's set this up quickly. Puzzle Agent was a Telltale Games experiment, sort of. They got bored of Sam and Max, and they do their Back to the Future stuff and then their Monkey Island stuff, but they wanted to kind of create a unique IP and see how it could do, and based on its sales and success, they may continue it, they may not, and they ended up liking Puzzle Agent 1 enough to continue it into Puzzle Agent 2, which is now out on PC, Mac, and iPhone, iPad.
Right. And it's super intriguing. I mean, I stayed up until like 3 in the morning when we first got it because I was so intrigued by the story because it's absolutely ridiculous. You got things like little red forest gnomes who scare Nelson to death and he just screams and runs away. You got astronauts in the forest. You got scientists who are figuring out that the moon has to do with lunacy. And it's just like crazy fun mixed in with very logical puzzles. Some are subpar, but majority of them require a lot of logic and thinking, and
so you're basically in it for the mathematics.
No, I mean it just breaks up the ridiculous insanity of like a Psychonauts type game storyline.
I don't think you can compare it to Psychonauts,
but I mean like it's like the storyline is like so absurd that you get pulled into it. But then it's broken up with these logical puzzles. It's kind of like this weird dichotomy which works and is really fun. And the art style, which is like kind of like pencil drawings, is it fits in well with the style of the game.
Tony, do you play many adventure games?
Not too much actually. I don't know.
Have you played any of the Telltale stuff before?
I actually was playing I actually finished the second chapter of Back to the Future.
Okay. So you're familiar with the style.
And I'm just a huge Back to the Future fan, so I had to play that one.
Right. Jake, what do you think that it's... I mean, because basically I've played a lot of the Telltale stuff, and kind of it boils down to you're playing the same game with a new skin. So for Puzzle Agent, are they doing anything different, or is it just the, hey, we've layered on insanity, and that gives it a thumbs up?
I think it's very simple in its mechanics. You go talk to people, they give you the storyline, tell you exactly where to go. You go to that place, you kind of click in a random spot, and it shows exactly where you can click on the screen. You can look at this thing, you can do a puzzle here, you can talk to somebody.
So it's the Telltale formula. You just are saying that this window dressing is better than, Monkey Island or better than Sam and Max.
Well, like with Monkey Island, so there's like items, you can like try to figure out where you to go and what to do. And this is kind of just boiled down to puzzles and a crazy storyline, and it's just that, and it works perfectly for like an iPhone game where you can just pick it up, play a couple puzzles, enjoy the story for a little bit, and then put it down. And or you can be like me and stay up till 3 in the morning playing it nonstop.
Yeah,
but
I'm not hating on Telltale. I'm just they really have this formula, and it doesn't seem like it deviates very much. And I guess you're kind of confirming that no, it doesn't deviate, but you just really enjoy this world that they've created, this puzzle agent world versus
and it's very simplistic. It's not. The puzzles can be difficult, but the gameplay itself is not difficult to understand or anything. It's just easy to pick up and play.
Yeah, and I will. There's this big, huge Steam sale going on right now for PC and Mac games. Tony, have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. I didn't buy anything yet, but I saw the huge sale that was going on.
Yeah, I'm notorious for buying a lot and then never playing any of it. I think I've picked up some weird games last year. We don't even have to go into those. But what I got recently was Frozen Synapse. It's kind of a really crazy game. Like it's a top-down perspective, and the best way I can set it up is imagine a top-down SWAT team with a Tron skin, so it's all neon, and you have like 4 units, right? And there's 4 enemy units, and the geometry of the levels is randomly generated. So even if you're playing campaign mission 4, it's going to be different every time even you restart. So there's like a reason to, you don't get bored. But what's really unique is instead of sending these guys kind of turn-based, or instead of sending these guys in real time, I make my move, and then the computer makes his move, and then we press go, and they mix together. So you really kind of have to think like a SWAT team. Like I can send my shotgun guy and have him. I mean, there's so many controls. You can have him crouch, you can have him stand, aim different directions, delay, wait, and it's not a game with health bars or a game with hit points. It's a game with you see a dude and get shot, you're going down, and the guy loses, and that's it. And so the first mission has you have 4 guys, and there's 4 opposing guys or 5 opposing guys, and it says take them out. And so I clicked on all 4 of my guys and aimed directly at the enemies and had them run there and shoot, and lo and behold, their guys were smarter than my guys and quickly turned and were aiming and just shot my guys down as they came. But it's like so... Am I making sense? This makes sense to either of you?
Kind of.
A little bit.
Trying to get it.
It's a tactical game, okay? You got to see it. Frozen Synapse, you got to see it to really understand. But basically, there's a top-down map with a couple guys, and you're moving them.
So it's turn-based.
It's turn-based, but it's like it's asynchronous. So it's not I take turn, computer takes turn, whatever. It's I cannot do anything, away from them. We're both doing it at the same time, and then we combine our turns, and boom, and chaos happens, right? So I tell my guys, go here, go here, go here. He tells his guys, go here, go here, go here. Boom, they happen at the same time. So there's no ability to predict. There's no ability to really react. It's like you have to come up with a great plan, order your troops out, and it's actually super cool.
Is it one turn where you order your guys once and then they go do that, or is it like they go and if you don't win instantly, then you take another turn. You both take another turn, and then you send them out again?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's continuous. It's like a living, breathing SWAT team.
Okay, I'm looking at it. I just went on Steam real quick to see like the screenshots of it
Sure.
to see what you're talking about. It looks kind of like a, yeah, you got the red on one side and the green on the other side, and
there's not much there, like visually. They're not trying to be
like Pac-Man-ish.
a little bit, and it's just the thing I find really interesting is that especially after playing tons of Black Ops, tons of zombies, where you're kind of just right trigger and right stick knifing, to have a game where they're like, okay, you can't just send this guy out and take 50 bullets and deal out 100. You have to really seriously think like these people are like real lives, and we got to send them out and make sure they don't die, because like I said, I failed the first mission like 10 times before I figured out, okay, I got to make this guy move only like 20 feet and then hold this corner and wait and just look in one direction. And Jake, you're looking more bored than me at grandma, so I don't know. But it's cool. You got to play it to believe it. It's totally unique, and I guess these Steam sales kind of make me wish I was more into PC games, wish I was more into Mac games, because stuff like the Telltale stuff and stuff like Frozen Synapse, it's all really cool, and it's totally different from playing Black Ops or playing Earth Defense Force, Insect Armageddon. I guess the closest thing
Everything's better than Infest or...
That's true, but the closest thing I can compare it to is L.A. Noire, which is kind of a adventurous PC game, which we're going to talk about on the other side of this break. We're going to take a quick 10 seconds here, throw some ice on our face, and come back.
If you do want to buy this, it is 50% off on Steam, $12.49 if you want to pick that game up.
Yeah, Frozen Synapse right now is on sale. I would say it's definitely worth it, but We're about to take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side and hear how Tony Pizza Guy hates L.A. Noire.
Oh, God.
All right, and we are back now. Many of you are probably having heart attacks because I know majority of you loved L.A. Noire along with me, but I'm willing to give the floor to you, Tony, and you can tell us why we should hate this glorious game.
Let me just tell you, my disappointment in games this year has been really high. I am upset with Homefront, which came out, and I'm upset with L.A. Noire, and I'm upset with Duke Nukem, and I don't know. Did you like Homefront at all?
I liked Homefront multiplayer. I thought it was okay. You know, a little diversion from Call of Duty for a week and a half. The single player I beat in 5 hours, and there were some missions. I mean, when people ask me if they should buy Homefront, I told them there's a mission where you're flying a helicopter through a city and you're trying to take out these like transports and tanks and other helicopters, and you can literally fly your helicopter along the ground and it will not take any damage. So I'm ramming into the street, flying through this city, shooting other tanks, and nothing's happening. It's just like, okay, this is the way to fly now. We're kind of snow sledding our way through the streets in a helicopter, and it's like, it's just it's a mess of a single player game.
Yeah, I was kind of intrigued by the story when I first saw it. Like the videos at the beginning are pretty cool. Like the main how they set up the story.
No, definitely. Like the whole America getting invaded. It's a great setup, and unfortunately, the game underneath is just pretty crappy. The multiplayer, like I said, was pretty good, but single player is just I'm not a fan. But L.A. Noire is amazing. How can you hate this?
Okay, let me get into a couple things that I liked about the game before I go on and hate it. Okay. I thought the graphics and the face technology with the 90 cameras or whatever they used was amazing. The dialogue in the game was good too. They had a lot of good actors for the game too. I thought they chose the actors very well. But I wasn't a big fan of it, and I don't know about the whole interrogation thing. That just, like, when I saw the game, I saw Rockstar. I was picturing a great game like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, but when I got into it, it wasn't anything like that. I don't know. You probably are just shocked on what I'm saying now, but
no, I mean, I really tried to keep myself as oblivious to what L.A. Noire was until the game came out, so I could sort of be surprised at something that, with so much preview coverage and trailers you don't really have these days. But I was pleasantly surprised to find a game that didn't involve me running around the streets, running people over, and psychically entering burger stands and shooting everyone to death and walking away like nothing happened. But my favorite part of the game were the interrogations. I think we might have some similar ground, though, in terms of why you didn't like the interrogations. I have a good feeling of why you didn't, but why don't you tell us?
Well, the thing is, like, the whole I believe you, I doubt you, and I know you're lying, it doesn't really work the way that they wanted it to work, because if you believe them, then it's okay, whatever, that you believe them. But if you doubt them, you think they would say, oh, okay, I believe you, but in your mind, you're just doubting them. But in here, when you doubt them, they're like, oh my God, no, I know you did it. Tell me the goddamn answer right now. And then he like pulls out his gun, puts it to their face, and then they're like, I'm going to press charges on you because you have no evidence.
There's a total disconnect between being like nice guy cop and then going quickly to like 9,000 angry
evil cop.
Evil cop, right? There's no middle ground. It's not really truth, doubt, lie. It's more like truth, antagonize, assault, basically, are the three options. There's no middle ground. And I mentioned this throughout my walkthrough that I thought they should retitle them or rebrand them or something, because you're absolutely right. Doubt isn't like, are you sure about that? It's like, you're going to tell me the truth, otherwise I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, that's how it is. And then if you get it wrong, there's like no way that you can come back from it. You just miss out on that part of the story. So you have to go back and replay that part. That's how I felt when I was going through. If I would get like some of the interrogations wrong, then I would have to go back and play them again just so I don't miss out on the story.
Yeah, and I know they tried to make it so that you could fail or miss questions, and there's no fail state. You can still progress your way through, whether you get 0% of the questions right or 100% of the questions right. But I can totally get what you're saying. Like, if I would miss questions, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm missing out on some story point, because the story itself was pretty. I mean, did you enjoy the story with what you played?
I thought it was decent. I mean, I thought it was okay, but I don't know. Maybe like the whole idea of just being a good guy, I don't know. That's just the appeal of Grand Theft Auto, I guess. Just running around doing that mayhem and
So basically,
killing
you're
people.
you're just a bad dude, and you just want to go around and be evil.
I'm a
and-
bad guy, yeah, and I just want to go around and kill everybody.
Yeah,
But there's a couple other things, like the whole picking up the items and finding evidence. I thought they didn't do that very well either because you would walk up to something and it would play that noise, your controller would vibrate, and then you'd know that you have to pick it up, and then all you do is turn the object to the right thing and hold it there until he looks at it, and then you get the clue.
yeah,
There wasn't like much thought put into that at all.
right. The whole finding of clues, like I still enjoyed it throughout. You weren't really finding the clues. You were mainly, walking around like a blind dude listening for the special chime, and it was like,
Yeah.
ding, 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 you've won. So I totally get that. How else would they have done it? Are they just going to say, here is this scene, go find clues? I mean, I know based on some people, you'd have people spending 4 hours sitting in this garden trying to figure out what the clue is and have no idea what to click on.
Looking for this pipe that you have to put it together so you can figure out what's going on. I know,
Right, but I don't think it like impeded anything because I feel like the main thing they wanted you to do was interrogate these people, look at their pretty face tech, and get Cole angry. And one thing I found as I finish it up this week is the back third of the game they try to really, I guess, up the ante by making it way more action focused, and instead what it does is it kind of just diluted and ruined not ruined, but diluted the experience for me and made me wish that the game would have ended with some epic, I guess this is slight spoilers if you don't want to hear anything. I'm not going to talk about anything specific, but it really goes away from the interrogations and focuses more on more Grand Theft Auto, right? More crazy driving, more shooting, which driving and shooting have never been that great in Grand Theft Auto in the first place. Like, the fun of Grand Theft Auto isn't the mechanic of shooting. It's like creating these scenes of chaos and insanity. These weren't scenes of chaos and insanity. This was you shooting a few, mob guys or a few cops or whatever, and I don't know. Like, I feel like they tried to make this balance, and for the first 75% of the game, it worked really well. And then they're like, we gotta do something crazy at the end to appease people like you who hated the interrogations.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of was like, ugh. Like, it still finished well. It just kind of left a slightly sour taste in my mouth because really, I can tell you, for the last hour and a half of the game, there's no interrogations.
And the other thing annoys me, there's like no replay value to this game whatsoever. And I mean, unless you miss stuff in the story and you want to go back and play it, they don't even have like any multiplayer in the game at all, which is kind of a downer in like the age that we live, where multiplayer is so high on the list of when you get a game,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sold incredibly well, and I think like I said, I think the game is fantastic. It does have its faults. I was just glad that they tried something different. I mean, Red Dead Redemption is basically Grand Theft Auto in the West. It was good to see them say, "Hey, we're gonna take a risk on something that's a little bit different." But
right. I know they were trying to do something different, but I don't know. The same.
you just want to
works.
shoot things. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, I just want to run around and shoot things.
You want to blow up buildings and skydive out of helicopters and ruin people's days. Jake, you are
spawn
awfully
cars with my cell phone.
You are awfully quiet here, and you're giving me the nasty shaking head motion here. What's going on? You're not a fan of Cops or LA Noire or Grand Theft Auto, or
I have no idea about LA Noire.
You've seen LA Noire. You know what goes on.
A little bit.
Tell us about a game that you like. We can jump right in. Why don't we jump? There wasn't a lot of new stuff this week. Why don't we jump right into? It's July now, and we have 6 months under our belt of the year. Let's talk our favorite games, biggest surprises, and biggest disappointments of the first half of the year. And we're starting right off with you, Mr. Silent. Tell us. We'll start. What do you want to start with, Tony? The surprise or disappointment?
Either one. I don't really have a lot of surprise this year.
Well, let's do a surprise then. We'll get those out of the way, and then we can get back to the haterade. Jake, tell us your biggest surprise of the first half of 2011.
My biggest surprise was Mortal Kombat 9, because normally I don't like fighting games that much, especially one-on-one, just kind of more realistic for fighting. But this one really surprised me, because normally I get beat up by you in Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, and that's really frustrating.
It absolutely is.
And trying to learn the combos and stuff. I enjoy things like Marvel's Capcom 3, which was kind of more arcadey and crazy supers and hypers and finishers and stuff like that. But Mortal Kombat 9 really surprised me. We got it the first day, and we played for a couple hours straight, and I was really intrigued by that. I mean, I went into the practice area and practice combos to try to get better so I could beat you, which is very rare for me to do in a fighting game. And just the whole finisher thing was kind of intriguing to me because I didn't really play Mortal Kombat before this. And the variety of characters, and I feel like they each had their own very specific and very different attacks and movesets and what they could and couldn't do. And so I just think it worked really well, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Give me something that differences. You're telling me that it has different characters, they have different movesets. You went to the practice field. I can do that in Street Fighter 4.
But I mean, no, me personally going to the practice field is different because I never want to play fighting games.
So it has a really great practice mode. That's what different.
No. I'm
trying to see because like I love Mortal Kombat 9
right.
as well, and we're adding the 9 on there. It kind of was just Mortal Kombat, but it's Mortal Kombat 9 if you want to be chronologically correct. Tony, do you play Mortal Kombat 9 a lot?
Not actually play that game because I kind of stayed away from it because a couple people I heard from they were saying if you've played one Mortal Kombat game, you've played them all,
and that's
kind of why I stayed away from it.
Yeah, and that's kind of true, Jake. What I'm trying to get at is. If I'm a fighting game fan and you're telling me you like Mortal Kombat 9 because it has moves and training like that, that's not giving me much. Can you pinpoint something? I mean, is it for me? Let me tell you. The reason I like Mortal Kombat 9 is I feel like the fights take a enough time where I can understand and figure out what's going on. When I play Street Fighter 4 online, the issue I have is I'm like in some 50-hit combo and done. I'm donezer before I can even, open my eyes and figure out what's going on. Mortal Kombat 9, like I play online, and I'll go down real early, and I'll be like, okay, I can block here for a little while and kind of figure out, get my bearings and see what they're doing, and I'm able to then get back in the action because the moves are slightly slower. The combos are easier to perform, and I don't feel like you get, I mean, certainly if you're playing great players, but I don't feel like you get caught up in that huge of
I think that's what
game-ending combos.
It's kind of more playable to everyone. We got in, and I kind of chose every character at first because I didn't really know much about the game, which was fun because they're, like I said, they're totally different, which is one thing I really like. But I like it for the same reason you kind of, but in a different way. Like I said, it's more playable. The combos are sort of like Street Fighter 4, but I feel like they're easier to perform because there's not a lot of sweeps in the game. And like I said, the fights take a while. They still feel like a Street Fighter fight, but you do have a chance to come back, like you said, or perform more combos that are cool looking and do a lot of damage, but they're easy to perform, and they're easy to perform from the beginning, but you do have to get better to be able to do them quicker and more strategically.
I feel like there's a better progression. Like Street Fighter 4, you'll be able to clear like the first, let's say, 5 moves, and then you get to move 6 through 50, and you're like, oh my god, unless I'm counting frames, I can't do this.
I just give up. I wouldn't even try those.
Mortal Kombat, you can still do cool things with every character, and I think that's what kind of made that one stand out. Do you have any other surprises, or is that that's your big one? Tony, what is your biggest surprise so far?
Biggest surprise? I don't know. I something that I really enjoyed this year was Portal 2. I enjoyed that game a lot.
You finished the single player?
Yeah, I got stuck on it a lot, so I actually went back and watched your playthrough of it. Okay. I'd play, and then I'd get stuck, and then I'd go back and watch your playthrough. Some of the puzzles are pretty hard, and I enjoy the dialogue a lot. It was a lot of humor put in that game.
Yeah, Portal 2 is really great. I guess my biggest surprise, I'm going to go with one that, I'd probably, between the three of us, I'd probably play the most games. Nearly played every major release.
You get a gold star for that.
Thank you. I'll take that gold star and wear it proudly. The biggest surprise for me is actually a recent game, Shadows of the Damned. I saw the game, for a couple of previews and different things, and I didn't really know what to think. It looked pretty cool from like the initial video, but then I heard a lot of people being like, "This game isn't that great. The mechanics aren't that great." It's not a game that would demo well or show well. You have to like experience it to really figure out what's going on. It's crazy. This is
from my perspective. I've never played the game, but I think it's very enjoyable to watch because there's absolute craziness going on. I think that fish light things.
It doesn't even make sense. Like you have this skull that is your gun and your comrade. You have these like sushi fishes that guide you through the levels. You're being chased by your girlfriend who's dead but like possessed in this demon world. You read storybooks. It's you feed brains to babies stuck on doors. Like it's absolutely batshit crazy. And like the mechanics, in spite of the mechanics, which they're okay, they're a 7 out of 10. It all works because it's offering something new, and I think that if you play a ton of games, especially a ton of shooters, what I'm looking for is, okay, what can pique my interest and be like, man, that really like has me thinking when I'm not playing the game, because I can go through the home fronts and the whatever these C tier shooters and like, okay, whatever, some good shooting, some we shot some Koreans, but Shadows of the Dam gives you like this, it's like a dose of insanity, and there's nothing really else like that. Another surprise that I'll touch on real quick was Trench, the downloadable game. I know we've had a ton of fun with that, Jake, and Double Fine, you expect something, I guess, kind of solid, but Costume Quest and stacking were okay. Like, oh, that was cool. But Trench is like really good.
Well, I didn't think I was surprised for me because you had hyped it up so much for me that I went into it with high expectations and it delivered. So I wasn't really surprised.
I guess it's more of a cross your fingers and deliver than a surprise, because I was hoping it would be super good. But Costume Quest and stacking, like I really wanted a great game, and I kind of got a good game. Trench, though, gives you that great game. Let's move to disappointments, though, and we'll start with you, Tony, since you've already began to tell us about all the...
I told you my disappointment, my LA Noire, Homefront, and I was playing Homefront on live. That might have been like one of the reasons why I didn't like it as much as I could have. I don't know. But on live is okay. I don't know. Do you ever go on to on live at all?
No, I've never used on live. I guess mainly just because, I have my Xbox set up and my PS3 set up, and so it's for recording and stuff. I don't even really mess with that sort of stuff. Are you still using it, or was it kind of just like a thing of a week where cool to use for a little bit, or because
I still have it. The thing about on live is you can get the play pack, which is like $10 a month, and you get like 50 games for it. I mean, there's like new games. They just added Homefront on there, and kind of disappoints me because it seems like they'll like add games after I buy them, which I don't know, that makes me angry. And
there's a delay, right? It's not like you're getting it. They don't. It's not. Is it release day?
Yeah, I actually played Homefront like 10 p.m. my time before it even released in stores, because it was like released right away, so I could play it right away. But I don't know. It's a good service. The idea is awesome, but I don't know. It just doesn't have the appeal of going out and getting a game and having the physical copy. Like
I guess just who is it targeting?
I don't know. I was really like, I don't know if it's going for like PC gamers or not, because they do have like the little console, which is good, but the controller's a Xbox PS3 rip-off controller. So
I guess it's going for people who don't have a PC that can run these games, and then don't have a 360 or they don't have a PS3 or whatever. But I feel like if you're going to want to be playing these games, aren't you going to just go buy I mean, you get 360 now for what, $150, the 4 gig, or $179 or whatever, and they usually throw in some gift card. I don't know. It just seems like not the greatest. I guess their market that they're trying to target just seems like a really small sliver to me. But
yeah, the only thing I'm like intrigued about it is that they are going to have it for tablets, like
oh really?
The iPad and the
that's something I could do.
The Zoom or whatever, and you can actually use their controller with it.
Yeah, that could be cool.
So
you mentioned Eleanor. We kind of touched on that. You mentioned Homefront. Duke Nukem. Were you expecting a good game? I mean, did you see sort of the warning signs coming beforehand, or were you crossing your fingers that it would be sort of a return to form?
I was talking to my friend about it a couple of months before. He was like, I would never pre-order that game because it's never going to come out.
Yeah.
Because they pushed it back even after they said, oh, here's a date, and then they pushed it back, and then they mocked it in a commercial.
Right, they had that final delay. But were you hoping for something different, or were you just saddened by the state of
it? Still has its like Duke Nukem charm about it, with the funny one-liners and the shit jokes and the drawing on the board, drawing a wiener on the board like everybody did on YouTube. And I don't know, the multiplayer it's 10 years since the last one. 12 years, was it? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess I wasn't expecting a lot, but I was expecting something. I don't know.
I think people just forgot. Like, if you go back and play a PlayStation 1 game, or even an early PS2 game, I think your mind forgets how crappy they are. Like, if you people hold up these games from PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 in particular, even N64 stuff, and then you go back and actually play them, and you're like, oh my god, that game was awful. And I think that's kind of the syndrome people had with Duke Nukem. Like, they were so excited it was finally coming out, they forgot that, man, games have come a long way since Duke Nukem.
I think the other thing about it was like that nostalgia factor where you're like, I remember playing this, on N64 with like 4 friends with the 4 split screens and running around and killing people, but then it's kind of like you've grown up and the game hasn't grown up.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just the same game that I already played.
Exactly. My disappointment, we'll go in crazy reverse order here. Um, I guess my Duke Nukem was disappointing. Homefront was disappointing.
Okay, pause for a second. I gotta move in my chair and it's gonna creak, but my butt is numb.
Okay, we'll take a quick creak. There, you better.
All right, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, we've crisis averted.
All right.
Since you butted in so kindly, take it away. What's your disappointment?
Oh, my biggest disappointment? Definitely Mario Sports Mix for Wii. I was actually really excited because I love basketball.
Why were you expecting anything?
Well, I love basketball, and I was like, okay, Mario basketball has been pretty awesome because I love Mario and I love basketball. Smash them together and it's awesomeness. But I really feel like they should have picked one of the 4 sports, and made a full game like Mario Baseball or Mario Strikers, and instead they kind of chopped this game up into 4 quadrants, and they're all subpar. They all feel like you do the same things. You kind of just like running around, smashing each other, flinging the Wii remote out, trying to do something.
Pause. It's keyword. Why does this game suck, Jake?
Because of the Wii.
Because of the Wiimote.
Right.
They want to make you wiggle it. They want to make you shake your arms. They want to make points be flying out of the walls. They want to make everyone be able to play together, and it destroys any sense of like Mario Sports isn't. Mario Sports isn't serious, but like Mario Strikers, Mario Baseball, those games, like you could play and be like, okay, this isn't MLB 2K11, but this is like decently close.
Right.
And then you open up Mario Sports Mix, and it's like,
there's superpowers flying everywhere.
Can you wave your arms? And do you maybe like to be active in your room and bounce some balls? I mean, that's...
It's definitely one of those games that it's like, we want everybody to play, even your grandma, instead of like, okay, you have to sit down and be able to play this game if you want to do well.
Yeah, they take it and try to up everything to 11, and in the process create like it's like if you were sitting there and they're like, how about you have some chicken? How about you have some steak? How about you have some broccoli and cake and cookies? And your whole face is being flooded with all these flavors, and instead all you get is crap. That's it. It ends up, it's awful. Do not play Mario. I mean, play Mario Sports Mix for the laugh, and then
laugh at it, not laugh while you're playing. The laugh at it.
It's a game that's targeted at the 5 to 12 crowd, and they'll have a great time with it. But it's just, yeah, the Mario Sports pedigree was decent. Mario Tennis, Mario Golf. Mario Sports Mega is not decent at all. My biggest disappointment, man, I have a hard time because I'm more of a lover than a hater. I'm trying to go through and see. There are some games that slightly disappointed me. We touched on a couple as well. I will say that Infamous 2 really disappointed me because I think my memory of Infamous 1 was a far better game than Infamous 2, and I think Infamous 2 is fun. There's just some really weird things, and we touched on them before. I guess ultimately probably my biggest disappointment is probably the game that I've had the least amount of fun with, and maybe that goes to Duke Nukem because like you were saying, Tony, I was hoping for a game that could be like, okay, this isn't a 10 out of 10, but it's a 7 out of 10, and like the back half of that game was horrible. And you're pointing at Red Faction here, sitting on my Xbox. That game's actually.
I just remember you hating it.
It's okay. Red Faction is okay. It's better than Duke Nukem. I guess I don't have a set disappointment yet. I wasn't really hyped for a lot early on. I mean, I was really hyped for Dead Space 2 and Portal 2 and LA Noire, and those kind of all delivered. Second half of the year, I have a lot more expectations, so I'm prepped to be disappointed. But we can move to the third and final tier here, which is favorite game, not best game. I know my favorite and best game are different, but Tony, tell us what your favorite game so far of the year has been.
I don't know. I have been enjoying the Call of Duty map packs, even though, they get kind of boring, but then they deliver another one when you get bored of it. So, I don't know.
How about
I'd
some
probably buy another
WWE
Call of Duty
All-Stars?
map pack. I did enjoy, like I said, Portal 2 was very enjoyable. LA Noire was not, of course, but it was okay.
What about WWE All-Stars?
Oh, that game was okay. I didn't really want to talk about wrestling games, but I guess I could.
No, you don't have to. So
Okay,
no
WWE All-Stars is one
standout
of those
favorites?
games that you can pick up and play with your friends, but as far as longevity of that game, not very much.
So no standout favorite.
I don't know. I'd probably
You're giving
one.
a big thumbs down to January to
this year
June.
gaming, thumbs down. I've been disappointed on 3 games, and I don't know.
That's just sour your taste.
We do have some games coming up: Gears, MW3, I don't know. There's a lot to look forward in the holiday season, so
Definitely. So
let's
so
get back into that.
we'll let you reclaim your video
I'll
game glory in the coming
reclaim my
months here.
throne.
Jake, what is your favorite game so far of the year?
My favorite game is definitely Portal 2. I didn't play Portal 1, so it was kind of whatever going into it. But it was extremely fun. It was sometimes challenging, which was always good. The co-op is super fun that we play sometimes, and you can easily pick it up and put it down. The storyline I thought was really good, intriguing, and like Tony said before, there was some good humor and witty lines and stuff. It just kind of appealed to everything I like. Some logic, some good, mechanics and stuff, but I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Portal 2 is fantastic, and I mentioned this in my final LA Noire episode. There's 3 games so far this year that I would give above a 9.0, and that's LA Noire, Dead Space 2, and Portal 2. And when I look at them, I have a really hard time picking which one's my absolute favorite, because they're all so very different. Portal 2, it's puzzles and humor and sort of the speed and the pacing of the game that really do it for me. And then LA Noire, it's being a cop and really feeling like I'm in this world, and I want to figure out what's going on and interrogate people, and I want Cole to do the right thing and get, the acknowledgement that he deserves. And then Dead Space 2 is, put the blanket over your head and hide your tears and make your way through crazy alien-infested churches and spaceships. It's really difficult to pick based on those 3, and obviously I just finished LA Noire and Portal 2 before, and Dead Space 2 was kind of the first one. But I think that if I was gun to my head, had to pick one, I would go with Portal 2, just because I feel like that has the greatest chance of being overall game of the year, mainly because of it's a warm game, and I mean you play Dead Space 2, you play Bulletstorm, you play Fear 3, you play Red Faction, you play Infamous, you play LA Noire, and those games get you intense, and you get into it and feel really good. But Portal 2, there's something about it that you just feel really good. You just want to smile and go and high five somebody after playing that game, or
virtually high five them,
or virtually high five them with the robots. And it's a Valve game. I love Half-Life 2. I love Left 4 Dead, and their style just really works for me. But I think really it's a unique thing to be able to have a game that you feel really good about. I don't know, there's so many games. Call of Duty, I mean, yes, you can feel good about Call of Duty, but you just shoot 50 people and, you get your chopper gun or your attack dogs biting people's heads off. I'm not sure that's something to go home and tell mom about, you know what I mean? Portal 2 just really, they do a great job of crafting a game that's engaging, that's fun, and also kind of represents, hey, we can show this to anybody. We can show Portal 2 and say, hey, this is what games can do. And it doesn't have to be blood. And something that's really interesting to me is what kind of game can you make where you don't have a gun? And granted, Portal 2 does have a gun, but when you take shooting out, what are the modes of interaction that you have? I mean, think about every game we've talked about today. I mean, from Earth Defense Force, from Black Ops, Puzzle Agent doesn't have a gun. I mean, that's unique. An adventure game is never going to be, a game of the year most likely. But everything else, LA Noire, Duke Nukem, even Frozen Synapse, that game, it's guns, it's shooting. And what can you do with a game where you don't have guns?
I think that's really highlighted, too, when you go back to the old factory and you use the different goos and stuff, and that was really fun to me, exciting and different.
Yeah, Portal 2 is absolutely fantastic. We could take a break here, but I think we're going to power through and talk about something that I know has been getting a lot of hoopla all around, which is this bill. Tony, what is it? Bill S. Do you know the numbers?
Hold on, I had it here and now I lost it again.
S978, I feel like.
Hold on, let me see here. 979 S point. Let me see if I can find it.
I think it's 978.
978. Bill S978 is
and
exact.
Basically, what this bill is it's mainly probably pushed by movie and television studios, and they're saying we don't want streaming content because it's a form of copyright violation, and it's their one way to kind of curtail it before. I mean, it's already gone crazy, but they have a method of controlling it, unlike music, and the fear of people is that video games would be counted because it's all media, and somehow this would destroy the YouTube community. Now that's a perfectly valid fear. And I do think that, one, I don't know if this bill is going to pass. That there's 500 million bills suggested, and how many of them actually pass every year.
Right.
Little things hold things up. One person can be like, that's stupid, and it's a really long and complicated process. Even if it passes, though, I mean, as unfortunate as to say, I don't think I would be affected. I mean,
Hold on, let me kind of read this off because I
sure,
don't know if you fully explained what the bill was.
sure.
Basically, from reading this website, simplest form states that if passed, it will be a felony to stream copyrighted content like music in the background of a YouTube video, webcam coverage of a song, let's play of a or a game review, anime music videos, or AMW or AMVs, whatever music videos that make up YouTube. The bill states that 10 or more public performances by electronic means during a 180-day period of one or more copyright material will land a person 5 years in jail, depending on what the copyright material was, and can be fined from between $2,500 to $5,000.
Yeah, so it's all encompassing. It's really serious. There's two things I think that keep this, if it does pass, from really being that big of a deal. One, how many people post videos on YouTube, right? There's millions of new videos every day. All of a sudden, are they going to say, well, we've got 5 million people that are now going to prison? I just can't see that happening. I mean, can you see that? Can you see them just sending notices to everyone that's making YouTube videos and saying, sorry, you're all going to prison?
No,
Could
but
build more
this thing
jails.
also is stating that YouTube itself could be held liable. So the whole
I
point is
guess
just
that's
like,
yeah, that it gets so complex and so
but then again, it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna just say some general statement, not true, but say if I raped somebody, not say that it happened, but let's say
Whoa
that I
there.
rape a girl, and then the cops ask her, and she says, no, they didn't do it. He didn't do it. Then you don't get in trouble. So, like, if they try to get your Call of Duty video taken off or whatever, and then Call of Duty's like, no, we let Call of Duty videos be on the internet, so then you're not in trouble. I think
right
like the
and
game developers will be like above the law kind of thing. If they don't press charges, then you wouldn't get in trouble really.
well
That's
and
how I see it.
all these places that partner people to be allowed to post game footage and stuff, they have agreements with these companies already, and unless they're going to say, well, we hate ad dollars, we hate publicity, we're shutting this all down, it's really messy. If I make an account, it's an alias. How do they know if I'm the one posting it, if my brother's posting it, if my dog's posting the video? I mean, there's nothing saying that, John Smith has posted this video. Here's his picture clicked, as he clicked the upload button. It's so,
They're gonna base it off your IP address and then go from there, I guess.
I guess. What about multiple person houses? Everyone gets fined. I mean, how are they gonna assess the actual fine or the actual punishment?
They send it to the person who's in charge of the IP address, I guess.
It,
But then it gets, like you said, it's tricky. You don't know who did what, and I honestly think that this bill will not pass. And if it does, it won't really affect a lot of people, like you were saying.
I don't think it passes, and if it does, I think it sort of becomes a moot point. There's been attempts, in the past for music stuff to try to take care of that, and ultimately, it never goes. I mean, it's sad to say, but how many people that pirate media end up getting in trouble ever?
True.
Very
But I think
few.
like
too many.
pirating music and putting that on YouTube is different than pirating, or not pirating, but like playing a game and talking over it.
Well, no, it's absolutely totally different. But I'm just saying, take something that's kind of a higher offense. Gears of War 3, a build of the single player leaked over the weekend. How many people are going to jail for that? Nobody. How many people pirate games constantly? I mean, especially with PC titles, you look at these companies who report and say 60 to 70% of our player base are playing on illegal copies. Are any of them getting in trouble? No. Should they be? Probably. I'm not playing with the morality of pirating here. I'm just saying if they can't punish people for that, how are they going to come and send a private investigator to my house and say who posted this LA Noire walkthrough? We're arresting them and taking them away. I don't think there's anything to be worried about. I know I've tried to respond to some of my people and say, guys, I'll be all right. I'll still be here in November. I'm not, I don't think it's going away, but it's definitely a step in the direction of internet control, which I think is probably the bigger overall fear, with bandwidth caps and things like that, that this big wild west of the web is going to be somehow curtailed and controlled by a group. And I think that's probably the baseline fear here for most people.
Yeah, it's the whole like net neutrality thing.
Right. Yeah.
But
And then I just
I don't see but like at most I see that they could do would be to take your YouTube account down. And I don't see how
yeah.
they could prosecute a fine or send you to jail based off. Oh, what are you in jail for? Oh yeah, I did a LA Noire walkthrough.
Right, and I mean, companies already take down videos that they don't, want up there, and that kind of already happens. And I don't see all of a sudden some governing body saying we're removing every single YouTube. I mean, I don't know. Maybe prove me wrong, right? I mean, surprise me, shock me, and we'll make another podcast in 6 months crying about how we have no more YouTube accounts and we're just sitting at home playing Modern Warfare 3 by ourselves. But I just don't see this affecting anybody at all. I mean,
Right. And I know YouTube kind of embraces the gaming thing because for a while there wasn't like a gaming category on like the most viewed stuff.
right.
But then I think they added one. I don't know
Well,
how
they've taken
soon they
steps
did
with
that.
some of the copyright things and the way you can label your videos. Like they're clearly aware. It's not like, oh, we don't know that people are doing this. I mean, they know that majority of their views, I would safely assume, are from people, giving their spin on content. Whether it's a movie review, whether it's remixes, montages, game walkthroughs. I feel like if you take YouTube as a whole, like that makes up a majority of it. And I don't think all of a sudden they're just going to say, well, we're cutting that part out, and now all it's going to become is vlogs and news show. I don't think it's anything to worry about. If you're stressed about this and think that GhostRobo or Tony Pizza Guy or Jake are going to disappear from the internet randomly, then I mean most people probably aren't worried about Jake disappearing. His
We'll
footprint.
just find another site. We'll hide in our basements and we'll upload videos from a anonymous IP address.
Exactly, and say YouTube went down in the same way like Napster went down, some other site would come up. I mean, in some far-fetched world where YouTube gets shut down permanently, the next site will come up and they'll find some loophole and it'll be totally, there is nothing to worry about at all, and as far as I'm concerned. But I think we're gonna wrap this up here. I know Jake is getting very tired, and I have him as the concern of my life here. Are you feeling sleepy, bud?
We worked out really hard, and I'm tired, and I'm hot, which always adds to the tiredness.
Jake has biceps that are at least 12 inches wide, so you got
Yes.
you gotta watch out for him. I mean, he breaks the buttons on my controllers every couple of days just because of his brute strength. So we don't want you to break me or break my mic or break Tony Pizza Guy through the air. Tony, you want to tell us about your channel? You want to give us anything here before we get out of here?
Link will be in the description, hopefully, and that's
Absolutely.
is good enough
No.
for me too. I'm currently working on getting my Machinima sports contract all settled
Yeah, that's awesome.
down, so we'll see what happens. They took a little vacation over the weekend and said they're gonna get back with me on Tuesday, so we'll have to wait for that.
Yeah, I hope that works out great for you. I know we didn't really touch on this early on. We kind of just jumped into games, but me and Tony kind of have a storied history because when I had probably, I don't know, 200 subscribers, I saw his channel, which is youtube.com/WeCaptureTheFrag, and I was just kind of sending out messages being like, can I do a dual commentary with you? Can I do a dual commentary with you? And I think, you were one of, if not the only person that responded like, yeah, let's set this up. And what did we do? Red Dead Redemption. We just kind of roamed around and went crazy for about 20 minutes.
Some crazy glitch where the guy got stuck in the wall.
Yeah. And sort of that was kind of one of my first breaks to be on a channel that got views, because before that I was doing nothing. And so
Yeah, I was always a big fan of your Invisible Game series, which I still think you should bring that back, but that'll be a different story.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff I started and would love to bring back, and it's kind of just evolved and changed. But
Or like honestly, come on.
there was some good stuff early on. You
I'm
can
an
go back
OG GhostRobo fan.
That's awesome. No, but I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad you're able to come on. Hope you had a good time. Quickly, I will let you know, guys, that you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/GhostRobo. You'll find updates about what videos are coming out, my crazy rants about things like this bill, whining about the Miami Heat, whatever's on my mind, you can find it there. And I think it's a really good way to spread the message. I can post bulletins on YouTube, but I would much rather just post on Twitter. So yeah, check me out on Twitter, youtube.com/GhostRobo. Check out Tony Pizza Guy at youtube.com/WeCaptureTheFrag, soon to be on Machinima Sports.
You can
and check
find
out
me
Jake.
on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Formspring, and not MySpace because nobody uses MySpace.
You are king of the internet all over.
But just look up Tony Pizza Guy. You'll probably find me somewhere.
Yeah, you do a lot of great stuff with your fans, and he live streams and some crazy stuff that's pretty awesome. You can find Jake at 123
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. He'll be there signing autographs every day from from 6 to 8 p.m. if you're interested in that. Do you have any way to contact you? People want to send you flowers or pictures, or
I don't think anyone wants to send me flowers.
We're about to work on that. Next episode, we're gonna have a special email address or a special Twitter or something for Jake, because there's a couple people who definitely are becoming fans, Jake.
All right, we can make that happen.
We will set that up, guys. Thank you very much for listening. That is this week's GhostRobo Army broadcast. They will continue every week. We're going to get a set schedule here. Not sure if we're going to post on Sundays or Mondays or Tuesdays or how this is going to go. We'll get a set day and get it under control. New guest next week. Who knows who it's going to be. Tony, thanks a lot for being on here once again.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.